ventured into the garage to sort out the wiring where the indicator switch came under. I've just noticed this oil on the floor dripping down from in here. So this can only mean oil pump cover's got to come off. I hope it's not coming out of that blimmin' pump again. It's been a pain in the backside since I helicoiled it. So I'll get the Allen keys, we'll pop the cover off and see how much oil comes out. Right, where's the Allen key? In here? No, you can't see what I'm doing there. Oh, oh Jesus. God, it tightened itself up. This one's going to be as tight as well. No, that one's not. It's annoying that it is the brake pedal. I can't get a full rotation on it. Wait for loads of oil to pour out now. If that's where it's coming from. I don't know. Be good to check anyway. Hopefully it's not coming out of here. Right, is that a 10? It is, and I can't get anywhere near it. No, here we go. One of my better moves, I have to say. I can't even get a spanner on there. Right, let me get this undone. Hang on. So you can see the blob of oil on there. Obviously the drip's there. It's actually dripping. You can see on my finger there. It's right on the end of the bolt. It's a big blob of oil. So we get some tissue and dry it off, and then I'll crank it up a bit more. Hopefully that'll stop it leaking. But the others not leaking, they're all nice and tight. Right, so I've cleaned it all up, dried all the floor off, so we'll leave this overnight and see if it leaks. I've just nipped it up, I don't really want to go anymore. Yeah, that's well tight now on them copper crush washers. Shouldn't really go anywhere now. So sometimes you get the feeling it never rains, it pours. Now what I've got up under here is I've got oil underneath here. Do you remember the engine was covered in oil before? I'm trying to find out where it's coming, whether the gasket's leaking at this joint here, whether it's coming out of the top of the tacho, but it's definitely engine oil. So what I'm going to do is wipe all this off, and then we're going to run it for a bit, see if we can see where it's coming from. So you can see it in there. It's not really, really oily, particularly there as well. You can see the, I think you can, I can't see, you're laying too close. I don't know where that is coming from, unless that bolt's unloose there, but it's definitely all the way down there. It looks like it's definitely coming from here, I reckon. Let's have a look at the tacho drive, because you can get leaks from there. Have we got anything coming out of there? There's nothing there. I would say, because it's up this high, unless it's blowing up, this cover's leaking. So I think what I'm going to do is drain the oil out, take this cover off, and we'll see where we've got a leak. So I'll mark on the screen, but if you can't see where the oil is glimmering, we're actually well low, we're actually under half full. Now that was full up with oil when I put it back in, so this is really badly leaking. So it's got to be this gasket that's leaking. So my job this weekend is to drain the oil. I'll have to disconnect all this. I'm probably going to have to pop the pump off again as well, but hopefully I can just pull the pump off of the shaft. Then we can pop this off as well. I'm going to try and do it with, yeah, I probably won't be able to do it. I don't want to take all these off again, because I've just got them on there and they're not leaking. But I'm probably going to have to do it to get this cover off to replace the clutch gasket. Now, it's not leaking out of there, is it? Or is it? This is the thing when you're trying to find a leak. It could be anywhere, but then looking at that, that is pretty dry around there. Definitely looks like it's coming out the bottom of here. I'm going to get a spanner on these bolts and just try these bolts first. Right, job for the morning. Push the bike as far over that side as we can. We're going to pop the exhaust off. The right hand top exhaust. And then we'll start stripping it down and get that off. I think that's all it is. It's just that gasket's gone. It's probably where I've had the bolts out of here, which go through this casing. I've probably disturbed it all. Keep taking them on and off for this damn oil pump, because that bolt goes all the way into there. This bolt goes all the way into there, so there's nothing holding that cover on. So I think when we put it on, I need to put it on with some sealant and clamp it right up. Yeah, I think that's the only option. I have ordered a new bolt kit for this, so I get the proper bolts, because I've got that, obviously that. Well, I've done 34 miles, and there's the engine oil that's come out. So obviously there was still some dirty oil in there, so it's probably not a bad thing giving it a flush through for another change. But I've never normally done an oil change after 34 miles. But again, there weren't a lot of oil in it. So right, let me, I've got to mark the kickstarter up, so that goes back in the same place. Then I've got to try and loosen some of these bolts off as well. So let me get after those, and I'll come back once the kick starts off. And also I've loosened some of these Allen bolts. Little tip for you, trying to push down on that to get it off isn't any good. So get yourself a little set of box spanners. Not only can you use them to undo notes, they also go on and then allow you to get these undone, because I would never have got that undone without these. That's what I mean by a box spanner. You can pick a set up for about a £5, £6. They're not a lot. So anyway, I will continue on my way. Put the next one on there. Box spanner on, and there it goes. And now that's gone. Okay, so I'll carry on round and be back when they're all undone. And we probably got oil on the floor, so I need to put something down there yet. Well, could be time for a cup of tea while that's draining out. That's going to take ages. Unfortunately, I filled the tank up completely full. So there's about a litre and a bit in there, so it's going to take a while for all that to come out. And then I will reuse this. I've got a lid. I'll put a lid back on. It's about £4.30 a half litre. And then I will filter it before I put it back in. Just if there's any dirt or anything in it, and then bung it back in again. So I think it's time for a cuppa, and we'll leave that going. So I've pulled the oil pump, and you can see there's oil on the top and the bottom of the gasket. Now if we look inside here, you can see, I'm hoping you can, there's oil run out and gone down the bottom there. So I think that gasket's been leaking as well. So I think when we put that back, we'll put a bit of gasket sealant around there as well, just to protect that face and make that a tight fit as well. So that's not been helping either. But yeah, still going. You can see in there hardly any of the windows gone down, so I'm going to be here sometime. I've just got that steady trickle. Well, about halfway now, still draining. That's as far as we've got. So I'm having a bit of a tidy up in the garage at the moment, so I'll carry on doing that while it's still going. Well, it's still draining, and then obviously the next job will be to pop all the Allen bolts out. So old school tip time. Draw out the shape of what you're ever taking bolts out, and then get a screwdriver, a Phillips one, make all your holes where the bolt should be, Obviously that's the kickstart there. That's where the oil cover goes on. And then as you take the bolts out, push them through the card, and then when you go to put them back, you can put the exact bolts back where they actually came out of. Old school.